Assalamu alaikum, this is Khaleel Muhammad. You are watching Passion Islam TV.
There's a man of my dreams, Prince of Prophets and Master of Kings. Mercy smile free my dark and gloomy clouds. When the light of Muhammad fill my world. So if life's journey brings you down, then you should think of him, for he is the last of the prophets, the Hakim al-Anbiya. I don't care what people say, I follow Muhammad in every way. Muhammad Rasulullah, messenger of God, the messenger of God, the messenger of God.
Khaleel, briefly talk to me about your reverting back to Islam.
Okay, my reversion or conversion was approximately 20 years ago now. I remember I took Shahada with my son in my arms, which was quite a special time for me. But how I came to Islam is that, I was like most people in the world. They didn't really believe in God, but they did, and they're halfway between fish, near the fish door fire.
Yeah.
And but I knew there was something, but I wasn't sure what it was until I met many Christians who talked about Christianity and Jesus, but to be honest, it never made sense to me until one day I made a Muslim, and he was fasting. And I asked him, why are you fasting? Why are you starving yourself? And what surprised me and what really shocked me was that the answers he gave me were logical. They were reasonable. They were almost scientific answers. And I was shocked to hear such a cohesive, comprehensive answer coming from a religious person, because to me religion wasn't supposed to make sense. It's meant to be based on superstition and mumbo jumbo and myth and mythology, but this was based and grounded in reason and science. So it really got me curious, and I began to read books, and he gave me leaflets. I began to watch Ahmadidat and Jamal Badawi and people of this nature, and within about 9 months or so, I was so convinced about the truth of Islam, about the compilation of the Quran, the life of the Prophet ﷺ, the compilation of the Hadith, the Islamic history in Cordoba and Andalus and Songhai and Mali, and then, there's so much beauty and so much erudition and learning in Islam. Everywhere Islam went, there was an explosion of civilization, an explosion of sciences and the culture. And because of this, I realized this must be the truth. So I was compelled to be a Muslim. Now, the brother who gave me dawah, he was always insistent that I was one that would share Islam with people. So I took very, very seriously the responsibility of dawah. So when I moved to Milton Keynes, I started to go to the library. I learned about quantum physics, evolution, atheism, go to the library and read these things. So I was able to engage with non-Muslims and talk about Islam and try and teach about Islam. And by the grace of Allah, I must have given about 12 shahadas, inshallah, in Milton Keynes. Now the singing, what I do, I sing now, but the singing is it's just part of my need to share Islam. Because I also realized that Muslims themselves, they need dawah too. They need the basics. They need to know who the Prophet is. I need to know about Allah and the Quran. And I found I could do this through my songs. So I worked for Yusuf Islam for 3 years, singing backing vocals for him, designing these CDs, A's for Allah. And I sang backing vocals for Zain Bhikha. When Mountain of Light, Yusuf Islam's company, relocated to Dubai, I stayed behind, and a brother said to me, why don't you do an album? Because I was doing some singing for Yusuf. And I said, no, I don't want to sing. I don't want to sing in public. It's too embarrassing. But after a while, he convinced me, no, if you have the ability to sing, you should, you have a duty to sing. It's part of the dawah. So I did my first album, which was called Heaven. And mashallah, it was so well received that I toured France with Rayhan. I went to Chicago. I went to Sweden, Germany, South Africa. I've been all over the world. And to the point where it was so successful that I produced a second album called Dhikr of Life. Filmed, it was recorded in Malaysia, and we filmed 4 videos while we was out there as well. So that was
latest news and interviews, videos and podcasts, log on to passionislam.com or join us on Facebook and Twitter, Passion Islam Media.